Mike said it this time. I didn't even fucking say it.
I stole it.
Hello.
Hi.
Oh, I sure.
Coming to you through the electrical impulses of the internet, it's F That Noise. Featuring Mike Burdick, Reeve, Jamie Klein, Pete Melia, and Steve Taylor. It is episode 23 and a half of F That Noise. Well, folks, we had big plans. We had big plans for tonight. We did. However, we'll call it tech difficulties, tech failures, absolute.
Let's call it tit difficulties.
Failures got in the way. So what we're going to do instead, folks, is a May the 4th be with us episode, a Star Wars themed discussions. What we liked, where did they all get wrong? Where did they all go wrong, and how did they take a giant dump on our childhoods?
Nanu, Fox.
That. So if you're watching the stream on our Facebook page, that's facebook.com/fthatnoise. In the upper left corner, I have Jamie Klein.
Hi, I'm Jamie Klein, fuckers.
Clockwise, Pete Melia. Mike Burdick.
I'm Jamie Klein, fuckers.
And Steve Taylor.
I'm Jamie Klein's white ass fucker.
So we started this about an hour ago, and while I was trying to get everything straightened out, everyone kept drinking. So now this is going to be a complete shit show.
I don't know what you're talking about.
But
This is going to give New Year's a run for its money.
Give me a diabetes just once for Steve.
Diabetes.
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 Me and Jenna Miko's tits.
Oh, Jesus.
Do you have that sound effects?
Oh,
Do you have that?
man. Descending into freaking anarchy right off the bat. All right,
Give me Adam Seuss's tits.
All right, Keith, we're going to do the drive of the week.
Yeah,
right?
so let's start every episode. We start with the drive of the week. If you do not know what a drive is, it is a line from a movie or TV show said with exceptional velocity and volume, and this segment belongs to Jamie Klein.
All right, ladies and germs, we have a drive of the week. This is one of the greatest drives in the history of Star Wars films. Wait until you hear this drive. This is classic George Lucas. This is definitive George Lucas. This is one of the greatest drives in Star Wars history. Play it, Keith!
Almost kept a straight face.
That's Keith when he found out about his internet.
Yes. Oh my God. Yes. All right. So, wait. Here, Jamie. There you go.
All right.
Oh, fuck.
This is real the week. This from, hands down, my personal favorite, the greatest film ever made, ever in the history of film.
Oh boy.
Empire Strikes Back. Here it is, the drive of the week. Take it, Keith.
Destructive conflict and bring order to the galaxy.
I'll never join you.
Never join you.
If you only knew the power of the dark side. Obi-Wan never told you what happened to your father.
He told me enough. He told me you killed him.
No. I am your father.
It's not true. That's impossible.
Search your feelings. You know it to be true. Luke, you can destroy the Emperor.
Happy reunion. It's about
Wait.
as bad as it can go.
It's Christmas at the Verdicts.
Hey, this is
That
like,
is
Thank
hands down one of the greatest drives in history, only because it is the best fucking movie ever. If this movie had a fucking pussy hole, I would fuck it. That's how much I love this movie.
Jesus Christ. Listen, thank you for calling Spectrum. Due to current circumstances, we have a longer than normal wait time.
Oh, Sue.
That was me
That-
half an hour ago.
Bitter Keith.
That's
Keith
right.
has some unresolved issues he's trying to work
Oh
through
my
here.
God.
It's all right.
It's always something. Like literally, nothing goes off without a hitch.
No,
Nothing.
you think though
I
that
want
it's
to
like
give Keith a virtual hug right now, my buddy.
Yeah,
I
David
want to give him a virtual boner attack.
David Bell watching the stream says just another example of the universe letting us know that the Phantom Menace should not be played ever.
That's a true
You're
statement.
right. That's a true
Totally
statement right
agree.
That's
Totally
not
agree.
a bad comment right there.
there. Yeah.
All right, so it's May the 4th. Obviously, it is National Star Wars Day. The Rise of Skywalker hitting Disney Plus. That's the big event, but it's not the biggest Star Wars news. Steve, you shared an article earlier that you were kind of excited about.
Yeah, Steve. The new Star Wars movie.
Yes, Steve.
Hepatitis?
About Taika Waititi or whatever his name is.
Oh, Taika Waititi is directing a new Star Wars movie.
Is he really? Taka Waititi?
For those of you who don't know who that is, he directed Thor Ragnarok, which came out a couple years ago. It's
Oh, that guy's
one of the
free.
best Marvel movies. But then he also directed one of the best movies in the last 10 years, which is What We Do in the Shadows, which is a
Yeah,
mockumentary
so great.
about vampires. One of the funniest fucking movies. It's
Great
so good.
series. The series is fantastic.
Yeah, I still got to see that shit.
Oh, it's on Hulu right now. So if anyone want to check it out, Wassa Boofabong.
Jesus Christ.
Doesn't even make sense.
I'll just look that up then. All right.
Shamalama ding dong.
So
Christ.
is it?
So Jamie, Jamie, I think you spoke for everybody that Empire is the best movie out of the
hands.
sequence. Does anybody have
Not
any
me.
dissenting opinions?
Steve says different. But
I
Steve's pick is not a bad pick. So
see. I pick Empire second, and I'll tell you why.
Okay, but you're wrong.
The one problem I've always had with Star Wars. Now, I admit that it's an outstanding movie. It's great. I definitely don't put it as one of the best movies ever. It's an amazing movie. It's really just everything. A lot about it is great. The one thing I never liked about Star Wars is the whole soap opera element of it, and even that clip with Luke, you are my father. That's a huge, I wanted to hear the organ music after he said no, because it's soap opera shit. My number one is Rogue One. Rogue One, because it is a war movie in the Star Wars universe. That's why I love The Mandalorian so much. It doesn't have a lot of.
My dog.
Do you get your modem and router through Spectrum, or do you
No,
have your own?
I own my own.
First of all, are we off
Okay.
the air right now?
No, we're still going. I never stopped recording,
All right.
by the way.
Oh.
All right.
Oh, hey!
So there's so
And Jamie's getting more drinks.
in the behind the scenes mode, there will be you'll hear me muttering and
Jamie, we're online,
Swearing.
Jamie. Jamie, we're online. Jamie, we're
Watch it.
Jamie, we're on. We're on, Jamie. Jamie, we are on.
Oh no, Jamie's got.
Jamie, we're on.
dear God.
Jamie, we're still online.
I'm gonna wear.
Hey, Jamie, we're still online. Watch
We're
what you say
still
and do.
online.
No.
We're still online.
Oh fuck! I left my drink.
He doesn't even know.
What are the odds
Oh
you
my
didn't hear
God.
us?
I was so terrified there was going to be Schlong.
The stream stopped.
Hey, remember that time we got banned from Facebook because Jamie showed his penis?
Yeah.
Jamie, we're online. Jamie, we're online. Jamie, we're online. Jamie, we're online.
Just so everyone knows, I'm in my underpants.
We're online right now.
All right.
No, we really aren't. But
I didn't want your Lucky Charm falling out of your pee hole, so that's what I was worried about.
My
Oh, my
shorts I was
God.
wearing.
this is an absolute shit show. Jamie's
Small
walking around.
balls all over, man.
Jamie's walking around with his pants off. Oh my god!
I like Star Wars.
Oh my god!
Oh,
What are we talking about?
We're talking about
nothing of
fucking
importance.
boner attacks.
Right.
oh wait, did you turn it off?
No, I'm trying. I gotta do it all over again, motherfuckers.
Zoo.
Are we online?
We weren't. We were not. I don't think we were online. Because
Oh,
Hey.
fuck.
See's natural.
Zoo. Wait a minute. You said we were.
I thought we were, and then I went to go to the freaking window, and it was closed. It was.
This is a fucking emotional roller coaster that I would need to get off of.
This is a disaster, is what it is. An absolute
I gotta tell you,
fucking
Keith.
disaster.
Until like 2 seconds ago, I was seeing the picture.
So did you see Jamie in his underwear?
Yeah.
Oh shit!
I just bought this fucking bottle. Look at this.
Are
Guys,
you-
this was a brand new fucking bottle.
Jamie,
You wanna hear this?
Jamie, can
Holy
you?
shit.
Jamie, can you hear me?
Jamie, when you first came online, that was 3/4 full.
No, this thing was full this morning. I was like, oh, I better have a drink while I'm grilling outside because I'm like, oh, it's supposed to be a drunk thing.
Yeah, you're
I gotta-
grilling
I
your
gotta-
liver.
I gotta have a titties.
Holy crikey. There's some good drink in there.
I mean, I am mixing it with Diet Coke, but I mean,
That helps it absorb
That
into the
helps it.
bloodstream faster
That's
because
right.
of the carbonation.
people like
And
Bob
the-
Euchre, whatever. The hell with it.
All right, now we're going live again.
Do we have to do
Well-
the drive of the weekend?
No. I kept recording. I didn't even stop it. I'll just go and edit all this shit. So
right.
pick
This
it.
is live flavor?
Nichols.
Okay, I made a really boring point about the origin of characters, and then Pete put me in my place. So that's where we stopped.
Our technology sucks.
All right, so we're talking about. Oh, Jamie's dead. Jamie's dead. He lost it.
Are we alive?
Live?
Oh, guess what? I think it's.
Oh boy!
Is that you?
Nichols had some amazing shit in it.
Lisa, come on!
Oh my god.
What if Christine
Abs-
Frank's pussy was?
Stop. Oh my god. Seriously. Seriously. Oh my god.
What if it tastes like Frankfurters?
It's so
All right.
tight.
So, Star Wars. So, Steve was making the.
She's in her 40s. I guarantee that's not the case.
Steve was making the impassioned point that
Of what? I don't even remember what the fuck I was saying.
you were talking about how you hate
Zoo.
Star Wars because it was soap opera.
Yeah, it's soap opera bullshit.
So and I
It's like
kept
watching Titanic in space.
okay. So,
Yeah.
anyway.
Eep.
Yeah, there was all of that.
Well, the prequels clearly suck, but really the new movies suck too, right? The new main. trilogy.
Disagree.
Two of the three suck.
Did we do the drive of the week?
Yes, we're all good.
We did. You asked. He said we don't have to do it again.
This is an absolute train wreck. Yeah,
No,
but-
before I continue to talk about this, okay, let's talk about this.
Okay, guys.
Oh,
seriously.
Oh shit, Steven!
I got clips. All right. There's one. Let's talk about this some more.
I'm not doing that.
Let's talk about.
I'll tell you that.
All right.
Donate my body to science fiction over
Steve
here.
is, he's got clips on his.
All right.
On his nipples.
Right
I need
now-
you.
Very
I want everyone to
disconcerting.
notice I am wearing a Star Trek shirt. By the way.
Yeah.
We noticed your what's the word I'm looking for? What do I call Mike?
I don't know.
Contrarian
What?
Burdick. You're contrarian.
what?
You're contrarian Taylor today.
Dude?
I did all my Star Wars stuff. I got my Star Wars shirt. Check out my fucking dick.
But I got no erection.
Oh,
know,
God.
Pull out the Death Stars.
There's not enough midichlorians for that fucking.
Like, oh, the Death Stars from Return of the Jedi, unfortunately.
Oh, Zoo.
The moons of Endor.
Oh, Zoo.
All right, so what's
Dude.
so? There's got to be one thing that maybe you didn't like about Star Trek or Star Trek. See what you got me going on?
Yeah.
Empire Strikes Back. There's got to be one thing that you didn't like about Empire Strikes Back.
Who are you talking to?
I was upset it ended because that movie is fucking perfection.
Perfection.
I'll tell you what. I tell you, there is one thing I don't like about it.
What?
And that I don't like the logic in them basically telling Luke not to leave, because in the next movie, the payoff is he comes back to see Yoda again. He says, "Oh, you're a Jedi," except there's no logic to it.
That's the fault of Return of the Jedi.
No, but it's set in Empire. Like they go, "Oh, you can't go, you can't go."
Yeah, but
And
Kirshner didn't know
Jedi
what was going to happen in Jedi.
All right, so fuck it. That's not it.
But you got to remember, it was all Lucas came up with the story for all of them. Even though he didn't write the scripts, he still was in charge of the story.
Right.
And he had that same drop in logic with the prequels, where the Jedi Order didn't want to train Anakin, and they decided they could train Anakin. And it's like they kept going back and forth, and it's just all over the place because fucking Lucas's mind is Play-Doh.
So, if someone came to you and said, "You know what? We're going to redo the Star Wars trilogy, the prequels, and we want you guys to come up with the idea," where do you start?
I know what I do.
First, I'd cast my friend Kevin Nuz.
Yes. True.
That's so fucking random. Oh,
See,
God.
I don't necessarily think the idea of the prequels was at fault. It was the execution.
So you're okay with the concept of Darth Vader / Anakin Skywalker being driven to the dark side mainly because he couldn't save his mother?
Well, that was one of the factors. There were a lot of factors. He was
Jamie's-
insecure. He was fucking. He was a whiny emo bitch. Like there were all kind of reasons why he was driven there. But it's just he obviously had a dark side to him, and it just needed a little manipulation in his bunghole with a finger to get him to throw Samuel Jackson out the window. Spoiler alert.
Jamie's lost it again.
Guys, I seriously drank almost a lot of Captain Morgan.
Can you show the folks at home again? James, show the folks at home the bottle again.
All right, this was brand new.
This bottle,
Full.
if you're listening on the podcast, is about a third full. And what size bottle is that?
This is about 10 inches.
That's a liter. That's
Yeah, right.
So
to me, that's about that, right?
Yeah, right.
It's about that.
Shut
It's about a third full, and it was brand new when Mr. Klein sat down for this whole disaster tonight. So
dicks.
good luck making it through this entire episode.
All
All right, so Michael,
Well, let's see who will make it through the episode first, Jamie or your internet. Let's see.
yeah, it's a toss up. He's dead again.
I'm sorry. Too soon. I feel bad too, but come on. We can't make fun. If we can't laugh about it,
Diabetes.
Well,
what's the point?
We had a good discussion earlier today. I'm going to try to get serious as I'm fucking wasted right now.
This should be fun.
Mike said his least favorite of all the Star Wars films was Attack of the Clones.
For sure.
Jim Clone around here.
See, here's the
Good job being serious.
Right there. Anyway,
You almost made it through it.
Mike says his least favorite is Attack of the Jim Clowns.
Really, Jamie? Really?
I disagree. I say Phantom Menace is the worst of them all, but Mike does have a good point because Attack of the Clones does have Hayden Christensen, which is fucking absolutely atrocious.
Listen, it isn't even that. Hayden
The love
Christensen-
story.
Yeah, the love story. Hayden Christensen's not the problem to me.
He's not a bad actor.
I think he gets a bad rap because to
He's
me
a fine actor. Yeah, I think he's a good actor.
he's fine, and I think the character has to be whiny. I think that the problem is the love story is so, it's just so bad. It's like, every line is more corny and stupid than the next. It's like, I don't know who has this love story, but it's absolutely ridiculous. I can look at Phantom Menace and I can go, oh, I like the fight at the end. I thought that was a great fight. Or I like the pod race. Maybe it was fine, or at least I like the float in Keith's pool. But it's like
I put a float in Keith's pool.
I bet you did.
That's why it's not standing anymore.
But there's nothing. I mean, you go from that love story, and then all of a sudden, C-3PO and R2-D2 are in a video game going through a conveyor belt. It's
terrible.
I hate that whole scene.
I like the last 10 minutes of Attack of the Clones, like the whole thing that they do with all the Jedis, but the rest of it is just terrible.
It sucks balls.
Yeah.
That's the problem with the Star Wars series, though. It's like, who are you asking? Are you asking the 7-year-old version of me?
Right.
Or the 20-year-old version?
Right.
Or this fucking grizzled old guy? Like, who are you asking? Like, I don't know.
So that's the thing Lucas never understood. If you make a movie for adults, kids will also like it. But if you make a movie and put in a bunch of kiddie bullshit, Jar Jar Binks, fucking adults aren't going to like that shit.
Well, you can see when he remade Jedi, he put in all that nonsense.
Yeah.
Well, true.
And the thing is that like you ask like any 12-year-old or under, I think, like they'll like Jar Jar. They'll like this kind of stuff, usually.
They'll like I Am Sam.
I think they made the original trilogy for stoners, and they made the prequels for kids.
But once again, you say they made it for kids, but then it's about trade regulations and all this weird shit, and it's violent, and it's not fucking for kids. Like, he could say all he wants that he made it for kids, but those movies are not for fucking kids.
Right.
They
are, but
which
they
ones?
are too.
The first trilogy, or which one?
The prequels.
No, those are for idiots.
But honestly, the new trilogy, and I'm not trying to start shit, but maybe I am. But
please do, please.
The new trilogy.
It's not fair. I'm
came
drunk.
out under Disney, and I'm not saying Rogue One. I'm not saying even Solo, which is borderline.
You're talking about 7, 8, 9.
I'm talking about 7, 8, and 9 is primarily dog shit, and it's just there is elements of that are so good. Like they get, like I said earlier, they get back to the models. They do like certain things, and they have certain things about it that are redeemable. But for the most part, those movies are not good. And the biggest reason is I don't care about those characters. I don't care about them at all.
The big problem for me is unlike what they did with the Marvel movies. With the Marvel movies, you had different writers, you had different directors, but there was one guy, Kevin Feige, who was in charge of keeping the continuity throughout all of the movies. And they didn't have that. And that's why it is a narrative convoluted fucking mess, to the point where in the beginning of, spoiler alert, Rise of Skywalker, they have to introduce the main baddie in the crawl in the beginning, which I thought was fucking insane. How you have a character like Palpatine and all of a sudden it's like, oh, guess what? He's back in the crawl in the beginning. You're like, what the fuck? I mean, you knew he was going to be back, but to do it that way was like,
he's going to be back from all the
trailer.
Not even so much the trailers, all the internet bullshit. Everyone talking.
Yeah, but
that came from the trailer.
That came from the trailer, though.
Yeah,
well, and plus Star Wars
Palpatine
Celebration
is
went
100% a way to fix dipshit killing Snoke in Last Jedi, because obviously J.J. Abrams had picked Snoke to be the bad guy, and when Fucknut killed him,
not that it was bad that they killed him, because he sucked too. There was nothing to him.
I personally, I don't know if he sucked though, because they never really fleshed out that character.
There was a lot of There was a lot of opportunity.
And Huxley was a joke, and Kylo Ren was a whiny little emo bitch. So really, when you're looking for bad guys, Snoke was the one. And then when they killed him, it's like, well, what the fuck are we going to do? We can't have fucking Kylo Ren be the bad guy because he's a fucking whiny little kid. So they had to pick somebody.
Which was the biggest problem I had with The Force Awakens, because with The Force Awakens, they started him in such a crappy way. Like right off the bat, there was nowhere to go.
Jamie's dead again. Do I have to hit the button, Jamie? Do I have to hit the button? No.
Who would have thought?
I gotta fucking piss. Your internet. God damn it.
Who would have thought that Harrison Ford's ball juice would create such a whiny little cunt?
Oh,
like
Wow.
Kylo Ren.
So
whiny at all.
Yeah.
He was such a whine. Every time he was crying and whining, and oh my god,
Doesn't bother me. I
throwing
fucking love him.
fits and
see,
I love all the new characters. Well, except for that CGI. I don't know what the fuck.
well, look at you got
You love
Phasma.
Rose? You love Rose? Is she good character?
Rose
No. Well, here's the thing with Rose. I don't dislike her either. She's just like blah.
but it's like
They
they,
don't
didn't
do
do
anything
anything.
with her. I have nothing against Rose.
Yeah,
I
but
have
what's
nothing-
what's the point of putting her in film if she's just blah? Like, what's
Yeah,
the?
she's very blah.
But
very
it's-
blah.
if
But I'd
her-
rather have blah than absolute atrocious like the prequels.
But if her role in The Last Jedi was to be the techie guy that Finn can partner with to go off and do whatever they got to do, what the hell was the budding romance there at the end of Last Jedi?
It was
She did nothing
thrown
with
in.
it. Yeah,
They did nothing with that because, like I don't know, she's barely in.
Well, J.J. Abrams threw
Rise
that
of-
away.
Well, yeah, because it was stupid.
It was. It was. No, I'm not going to deny that.
But
Yeah.
also Finn, like I loved that character in Force Awakens because they made him out to be somewhat heroic.
I like
But
Finn.
then in Last Jedi, they turned him into a pretty much a non-entity.
Yeah.
He didn't really do shit. He was a deserter, and he was dick. And then
he
they
and
made him into this
Poe just like
brooding
hugged a whole
badass
bunch
in
of
the third
times
one.
and
Human. Makes him human. And he wants to get the fuck out of there. I'm fine
so
with that.
forgettable. All that.
No, I don't buy that. I just don't buy. I just don't buy. After all he went through to escape the Empire, and all he went through in the first and Force Awakens, to turn him into what they turned him into in Last Jedi. I don't want to even get in the Last Jedi. I could fucking spend hours on the Last Jedi.
And it's Phantom Menace, though.
What's
What?
that?
No,
Not as bad as Phantom Menace.
no.
Well,
Not-
different.
okay,
a
not
different
much
bad.
is as bad as Phantom Menace.
A different bad. I just like. I think people were so hurting from those prequels that they were ready to eat anything, and it's not a good trilogy. It's
Like
people
I-
came out of Force Awakens and they're like, oh my god, this is wonderful, we have Star Wars back, and I'm like, no, you don't. It's still shitty. And then they
disagree.
made Rogue One all of a sudden, and you're like, wow, this is actually kind of cool. They made something kind of interesting and different.
There's two.
You know?
There's two things that doomed the new trilogy, in my opinion. One, they tried to do way too much with just 3 movies. Like the new
way too much.
the new trilogy could have been like the MCU, like where you had literally 10 movies to try to tell this story. You absolutely could do it. Secondly, the expectations made by The Force Awakens. Now, Mike, I understand you didn't like The Force Awakens, but like a lot of people did. And so when that was back and that rhythm, you get the new characters introduced, and you've got the new bad guy Snoke that you don't know where he came from, but he's got this wound on his head, and could he be this and could he be that? And then in The Last Jedi, you're built up, and what happens? You open up with Poe telling mom jokes.
Yeah.
That started the disconnect in The Last
But
Jedi.
no, Last Jedi is the worst of the new prequels.
I would
Or-
agree.
Oh no. Oh no.
I would
Oh,
agree
yeah.
with that. You haven't even seen the
No,
Rise of
Force
Skywalker yet.
Awakens is the worst to me.
No.
But anyway,
No, Force
No,
Awakens.
Oh no,
Mike-
Last Jedi
Mike,
is
you
1,000
should
times
have
worse.
seen The Last Jedi before you make that call. You should see The Last Jedi.
no, I saw The Last Jedi. I didn't see The Rise
Oh,
of
you did?
Skywalker.
Rise of
Yeah.
Skywalker is my favorite. A lot of people disagree. A lot of people say Force Awakens is the best, but I like Rise of Skywalker.
I like
know-
Rise of Skywalker because I feel like
Titties.
Abrams was handed a pile of shit to finish that story.
Yeah,
And
unfortunately.
Well, here's the thing. Playing off what Keith said, with the villain, the problem is that what?
I mumbled to myself. I said I still like parts of Last Jedi though a lot.
Well, I like to me that was better than Force Awakens, but I know I made my point on that. But the thing is that with Kylo Ren, he's to me is set up as the bad guy only because in a real Star Wars trilogy we look at Darth Vader as the bad guy. So when we have Kylo Ren show up in a similar outfit, you're like, okay, here's our bad guy. And then Snoke comes up. Now Snoke is the CGI character. You don't think bad guy. You think this isn't even real. You think this is Jar Jar Binks. You think that we're not getting our bad guy. You know,
Right.
it's like it's not. I can't.
It's supposed to be
identify
the Emperor, but not really.
Yeah, it's just, but right away they make it. They basically tell you he's basically not the Emperor. Like from the first time you see him. I don't know.
Yeah.
I see David Bell agreed they killed Snoke too soon.
Yeah. Absolutely.
But like you gotta just thinking about
Snoop.
not tearing apart anything else other than the Force Awakens supposedly is only like what 20, 30 years after Return of the Jedi.
25 or something like that.
The First Order not only has able to build up the army they have, but then create that Death Star like planet they have in just 25 years.
Mm-hmm.
That just seems insane to me right there.
And the
that's
rebellion
good.
is now has a different name, but basically are doing the same thing with the same maps and the same computers.
Exactly. And really the whole Last Jedi thing boils down to me right from the beginning. If Luke wanted to go to a place where he can never be found, away from everything, why the fuck would he create a map to find him?
Yeah.
That is the stupidest fucking story
In case
thing.
something were to happen.
But no, he specifically said in the beginning he didn't give a shit about that. He wanted no one to find him. And that's why he threw the
That's what
lightsaber.
he said in Last Jedi.
Because
They-
she said, we needed you.
That's
You
why-
you are needed. And he said, well, fuck it. You know what I mean?
That's why J.J. Abrams should have done all three of them. Just like Lucas should have directed all three of them.
Well, even if he didn't
fact
direct
they-
him, even if he didn't
No,
direct him, he should have been in with the storyline.
I don't want Lucas.
Like he
near it.
shouldn't have let Ryan Johnson create his own story.
Here's my thing.
Right,
Here's
I
my
agree.
thing. And I know I'm side seat creating here, but the idea is if they would have taken Luke to the natural conclusion, and even Mark Hamill wanted to do this.
You want me to
make
jerk him
Luke-
off?
Yes.
Oh,
Conclusion, absolutely.
Finish him.
But no, if you would have made Luke
First
Skywalker,
order?
his obvious conclusion is that he turns bad.
You
He
think that's,
watches
you
his
think that's
aunt and uncle get
obvious?
slaughtered. His dad is Darth Vader. He's basically has the whole universe on his shoulders. He should have turned to the dark side after the trilogy. That should have been
I
the
agree.
creative. Yeah, and that would have been a more interesting story to me from the get-go. It just, you could have centered the whole story around that. Obviously, you have to finish that trilogy with a big Skywalker connection, so do that.
I liked Rey. A lot of people don't like Rey. I really liked Rey.
I liked
liked
Rey.
her too.
Mike just
But
said
once
he doesn't
again,
give a
she
shit
was
about
kind
it.
of inconsistent throughout the series because it was different visions of her.
Daisy Ridley is fucking hot.
Hey, I liked
No
her too.
tatas, but the
I
rest.
actually liked her a lot. My thing is that if you're gonna if there's one thing, and I've shared this with Jamie before, if there's one thing that would have made that trilogy okay for me, was because I don't care what people say, that trilogy is to continue the Skywalker legacy. I don't care what, like everyone says, oh, it's going a different direction. It's not for our generation. That's bullshit to me. It's absolutely for our generation. And if they wanted to make that movie right, they would have had some sort of Anakin being reincarnated into Rey. And that would have explained so much to me if they had gone that kind of way.
Mm.
Instead, they convolute this Emperor bullshit. I don't know. But go ahead.
And I'm gonna be honest. One of the biggest gripes I have with the Last Jedi is the Princess Leia stuff
Oh, that
because it
stuff
was
sucks.
so horrible.
I'm
like
with you on that. It's
The
terrible.
effects were so horrible that I was looking at it like I felt bad for Carrie Fisher and her family by what I saw.
Yeah.
Awful.
It was horrible.
But like,
It's so bad. I'm gonna actually leave this podcast right now and piss on my dick.
How are you going to piss on your dick?
apparently,
Oh God!
apparently
I
Jamie
hope
has
his
to go.
pants are on when he comes back.
Hey, thank God we don't have a mobile camera crew. Jamie.
Okay, well Jamie's gone. The Rise of Skywalker was so fucking bad, Mike. Don't watch it.
No,
Wait,
I know that. It's a protest.
I went into that
Time out.
movie.
This is insane. Like, I actually, that's the last one, right?
Yeah.
Yes.
Rise of Skywalker.
Okay, I'm losing my mind here. Sorry. That I didn't think I was gonna make it through it.
I
It
went
was
into
that
that movie
Yeah.
hoping to like it. Like
My
I was
kids
praying
lost
that I would
interest
like
in
it. It was bad.
I liked it.
Mm.
It was a
did?
fetch quest.
I don't have any problem with it.
Okay.
It was a 2.5 hour fetch quest.
Nope. And Steve, there's
I mean,
no way that you
did
went
you
into
hear what I
that
said?
open-minded.
Like, my kids are bananas over this series, over
Right.
Star Trek.
Now,
Star Wars.
Keith, let me tell you,
Wait,
Keith.
Pete's in
They
the middle of a
lost interest
sentence.
in this movie about halfway through.
Is that right?
Yeah.
There has never been a
Bill Dunn and I were
franchise.
ripping on the movie during it.
I believe it. But no, there has never been a franchise in my life that I've wanted to like more than Star Wars. I have forced myself to watch every fucking movie multiple times because in my nerddom, I'm like, I know I need to like these movies. I need to like them.
Yeah.
And same thing happened with The Rise of Skywalker. Like I went into that fully open mind. Like I need to like this movie. Oh Jesus!
Jimmy's coming back.
You go into
as
that
I
with
was
an open
watching
mind?
it- As I was watching it, luckily for me, I'm not looking at it from a fanboy perspective. And so I was able to critique it as just a movie. And as a movie, it's fucking terrible.
Did Steve
I
just call
think
me a
I
fanboy?
think honestly, Steve, you're giving yourself way too much credit.
Thank you, Mike. I appreciate that.
Did
John Donald Spear.
Did Steve just call me a
Sorry.
fanboy?
What did I call you?
Did you just call me a fanboy? Anyway,
Yes, I did.
God damn it. So here's the
You
thing,
and
though.
Jamie are fanboys, goddammit.
I watch Star Wars with kind of like a split consciousness. So like I recognize
I like
that
that.
there are
That must
some
hurt.
Yes, it does. Because there are some bad aspects to a lot of these movies. But at the same time it's the movie that shaped my childhood. So like I will watch them even though they're bad. And that's just me.
Tron shaped my childhood. I go back to watch that now, and I'm like, fuck, that sucked my childhood. Must have been
Midnight
shit.
Madness shaped my
If
childhood.
Tron shaped your
Mike, I love
childhood.
Midnight Madness!
I love Midnight Madness around here.
That movie rules. Yeah.
I thought the white team was going to win.
Night, where do you
Midnight
think this
Madness and Time
would come
Bandits.
from, you know?
I
Oh,
saw it
fuck.
in the theater.
Goddamn Time Bandits. That ending still has me fucked up.
I gotta tell you, I tried to show my kids that the other night. They thought I was freaking crazy. I was like,
Yeah.
"Oh, no, you're
got
missing
to
it here."
You'll never have to microwave anything again after the end of that movie. But
All right, so the new Taika Waititi, or I hope that's how you say his name. Otherwise, I
Titty.
just insulted the man.
No, it's Wasa Boofa.
So the new movies, where do you guys hope that they take this? If it's supposedly like not Skywalker related,
1,000% away from that story. Just have, like the Mandalorian, just have, different aliens, maybe some aliens that you recognize, but not like actual characters, and just have a fun story, like something with
Yeah,
action.
dude, it's the
and good
story,
writing.
right? It's
Yeah.
the story that's got to work.
I think it needs a grown-up veneer to be
Yeah.
thrown on it. I think it needs a total reboot, a totally different look and feel, all of that. Like maybe more of an adult kind of a movie, actually, this time.
Yeah, they gotta stop
Dark,
saying these
gritty.
movies are fucking kids. They're not for kids. They're
A
for
reboot like Batman got, or something.
Exactly.
Maybe with, like,
Let me pose a question for you guys
Uh-oh.
because I'm curious what you think.
No.
Well, there you go, Mike. I guess you gotta shut the
I
fuck up.
guess that's my answer. I'm curious what you think. What is Star Wars? Like, I understand, like, take out like Rogue One and Mandalorian and stuff. Is Star Wars supposed to be about the Skywalkers, though?
Yes,
So
1,000%.
Mandalorian?
no, take out the Mandalorian, take out Rogue, take out the side stories, the main trilogies.
Okay.
Should you make the powerful Star Wars story a continuation of somehow of the Skywalker legend? Because some people tell me no. Some people are like, no, that was your generation. They're doing something new. They're rebooting, as Pete said. But do we need to continue? Is that our connection to the story?
No, you can mention it. Like, it's obviously something major that happened in the universe, so it can be mentioned, but it shouldn't have to rely on that storyline at all.
To me,
Because
I think it does.
You think how big the universe is and how big their galaxy is. I mean, that's the thing. This is one storyline in a fucking massive galaxy.
I get
well, it's
that,
gonna boil
but
down to
go ahead,
Yeah,
Pete. Sorry.
if they manage to capture that young generation like they wanted to, and those younger generations, I don't know that they necessarily have. There's just too many distractions for them. Like, they're not going to be fans like we were necessarily
No,
fans.
you're right.
Growing up our
Absolutely.
generation. Like,
That's a good
I don't know.
point.
I wonder. I guess I don't really have any numbers or figures or anything, but that's going to basically determine.
You
what
didn't
they
come
do
with
next.
figures and numbers?
Yeah, no.
Where's your
Hell no.
PowerPoint presentation?
Yeah, 44, 23, yeah, whatever. It is.
Hike,
Oh.
Omaha.
Because
87.
my argument is, if it's not Skywalker in some way, then it shouldn't be Star Wars. It should be something else.
See, but
Because
Well, look at Rogue One.
Yeah.
Rogue
Yeah.
One, technically, it showed Darth Vader, but it had nothing really to do Skywalker with the Force, with any of that. The Darth Vader
But it-
part was so
Or Solo.
incremental.
What
I
was
thought
the
it was
best scene in Rogue One?
Okay,
At the
that
end.
was the best scene in a very good movie. Yes.
True.
Kind
I'll
of.
give you
But
that.
still, you take out that scene, that's still a very good movie. It's just missing a great scene.
I couldn't agree more, and I see what you're saying.
You know
if
what
I
I'm
look-
saying?
If I look at New Hope goes to like what? Like there's like three major things happening. It's very basic.
No, it isn't.
Like it's like you're in the desert, you're in space, you blow up the Death Star.
sorry,
You know?
sorry. Go ahead.
Keep catching me, you know. Keep catching me.
So what I'm about
Yeah.
to say, Steve's probably gonna roll his eyes at me. But there was a video game.
You know,
movie-
I'm fucking drinking, but me. That's my fucking
Well, because
problem.
I'm fucking drinking.
You're hitting the goddamn sauce hard over there.
I'm drinking a lot.
I don't know how I'm fucking go to work tomorrow.
There was a video game for the original Xbox.
You
called,
work from home.
uh,
You just got to go to your couch.
I'm not working at all, so a few.
there was a video game called Star Wars: The Knights of the Old Republic, and that had a real
Like-
outstanding storyline. It took place thousands of years before the Skywalker mess.
Why would I be against you on that? I agree with you 100%.
Because I talk too much about that game because it's in my
It's a great game.
It's in my
That's fairly
pantheon.
new, right? It's only a couple years old or a year
It's
old.
the same players.
It goes back to the
Amy
Same
Field.
players?
it goes back to the original Xbox, like 2004.
Yeah, it's like a 20
Oh,
year
really?
game
It's that
almost.
old?
yeah.
Okay.
They made it all backwards compatible, so you could I still play it on my Xbox One because it's like double backwards compatible.
Dogs and cats
Yeah.
together, mass hysteria.
But it was a real compelling storyline, and
So be good, for goodness sake.
I'm going to stop talking.
Whoa!
Somebody's coming.
Somebody's jerking.
Someone's coming on her face.
Oh my gosh! Shock.
You know what, Jamie? I heard that's what she gets.
What?
What?
I don't feel.
What?
I don't feel comfortable here anymore.
Mike would like to help.
You feel comfortable.
God damn it!
We are fucking perverts.
Yes.
Wrong.
Yes, we are.
Anyways,
Realist.
All right, guys.
Skywalker.
It's it was pretty hard to come by, but we managed to get a full episode out of this disaster. So
I think it's pretty easy. Once
Yeah.
we got
We started and ended like 4 times.
yes, that's right.
Let's ask people who might still be listening. If there is anyone. What
Hi,
is there?
Michelle. We love you.
The outro is playing. The outro is playing.
Christmas.
See you next week. Go to the website fthatnoisepod.com.
Do we have to wait for their answers?
See you all next time.
The best Star Wars movie ever made was Spaceballs.
No.